Recording. All right. Chat bugs aside, we are now officially beginning a webinar that I'm super excited about because I've been having such incredible success with my outbound since I discovered what I'm going to share with you on this webinar. So, we're going to talk about how to completely systematize and automate your prospecting in 2022. So here is what you are going to learn today. And by the way, if you were at this webinar in June, I got a bunch of the title might be the same, but I got a bunch of new stuff. This is very different than some portions will be the same, but there's a bunch of new stuff, the stuff that's really working for me. What's up, Joseph? That's what we're going to be. There's a bunch of content in my presentation today to talk about. That volume seems low. Okay, there I turned the volume up a little bit. So hopefully that works. Volume good. Maybe you guys could give me some feedback. That would be great. And yep, good. Okay. So how prospecting has evolved, the reason most people don't have much success prospecting, how to shift your tactics so prospects appreciate you contacting them. Wouldn't that be cool? And my gift card strategy, which is, I did not cover this in the last webinar. And we're going to show you my actual results from my actual live campaigns. And then, of course, how to systematize, automate, and delegate the whole process, which is what I've done. So literally, I get demos. They just show up in my calendar with mid-market companies, and there's no effort on my part. So it's pretty darn awesome. And there's anything that I'm doing, you guys can replicate. And I'm going to show you how to do it and show you the software and all that stuff. So here's what you won't learn. Which email template works best? Well, that's actually probably take that bullet point out, because now in this gift card strategy, I'm totally using the same email template with every single person I reach out to. So imagine as though I just scratched out number one. How many emails should you send? Well, that depends on how many appointments you need to fill your calendar and what's the correct cadence for sending emails. I really should have taken this whole slide out because I'm actually going to show you my cadence as well. I don't know that my cadence is the perfect cadence, but my initial offer is so compelling. I don't really think the cadence is actually the thing that's creating the success that I am having. All right. So my name's Trent. I own, although not for much longer, a company that sells supplements on Amazon. I say not for much longer because it's nearly sold to somebody else. And I am the founder of Flowster. I've been on the Inc. 5000 a couple of times, and I've been creating business improvement. If you're new to me and this is your first webinar, I've been around for a while. I've been creating business improvement content for about 10 years on YouTube and on my personal website, Bright Ideas, which is about to go through a big makeover because it's a little bit stale. My videos have received millions and millions of views on YouTube. My top video was, I think, 4.2 million, something like that. It was how to start a business with no money. I'm well known in the Amazon world as the SOP guy because of the success that my Amazon hybrid agency has. And that's the one that I'm actually getting ready to sell. I started that back in 2016. And I've helped just over 1,000 other agency owners improve the scalability of their business. I am written up in James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, chapter 16. If you want to check it out, or if you just like to Google the paperclip strategy, you'll see an article on Business Insider and on James Clear's blog, and it's all about yours truly with the first system that I ever built. I'm not going to explain the system to you because you can go Google it later on if you like. We've been on the Inc. 5000 a few times before that. I'm originally Canadian. I was on the Profit 100 a couple of times, which is kind of like the Inc. 5000, only up in Canada. And I was also a top 40 under 40 CEO in 2007. So hopefully, if you've never heard me before, by now you realize that I at least have some idea of what I'm doing in business. I'm no Steve Jobs, to be sure, but I'm also not a hack who has no idea what he's doing. And I do all of this because I want more freedom in my life to spend, camping, which I'm going to do this weekend with my family. This is my daughter there with the hat on backwards. Her name's Kiana. She is 8 and she is just the light of my life. This is my wife, Liz, who's very involved in the business. These are some of our friends, Nate and Diana. And I just love the lifestyle that I get from being a business owner. So everything that I do in my businesses is indirectly about how do I get more freedom in my life. So if that resonates with you, if you're like, hell yeah, put a hell yeah in chat for me and let me know that you're like me and that we're kindred spirits and we're hanging out and we're going to learn. We're going to spend today learning how to get more freedom in your life so you can spend more time camping or whatever it is that you really enjoy doing. So, my obsessions are simple. I want to automate as much as possible. And whatever I can't automate, I want to delegate because I don't want to have to do anything to do with working in my business. I like working on my business. I like being the strategy guy, something that I'm constantly working on getting a lot better at. I like being the kind of the conductor of the orchestra, so to speak, but I don't really want to play any of the instruments. And so now I'd like to learn about you guys. I'm going to ask you 3 times today to take a picture of the QR code. Let me just, it's not going to work yet. Hold on. I got to open it up here to turn it on. I should have had that ready, but I was on somebody else's podcast just a few minutes before this started. So I'm just working on another screen to turn this on. If you'll bear with me for about another 15 seconds or so, I'm going to hit the go button. All right, here we go. And boom. All right, if you guys would now, and I'll put the URL, in case you're watching this on your phone, I'm also going to put the URL in chat. It is in chat right now. So if you would take a minute, please, and I'm only going to ask you 3 times today to give me feedback like this. Why am I asking you this? Because it's really important. I track my stats on all the webinars that I do with the idea of constantly trying to improve what I'm doing and who I'm doing it for. And if I don't ask questions like this, then I don't know who I'm doing it for and what the problems are. So we've only got 3 results so far. Come on, guys, we can do better than that. We've got way more than 3 people here. So if you can hear my voice and you have a camera on your phone, or you can click a link in chat, I want to get at least 12 responses. You can see we're at 7 and 70. Now we're at 8, and the lion's share. Now we're at 9, and we need to get to 12. Come on, guys. So not making enough money is one more person who's listening. Come on. There we go. 12. So 58%, and the results keep coming in. So 2/3 of you are saying, hey, my biggest problem is I'm not making enough money. And prospect, so you're in the right place today, because obviously prospecting and getting appointments to pitch clients or customers on giving you their money, that goes a long way to solving the problem of not making enough money. So we're going to move on to the next slide. Thank you very much for doing that. So back in the old days, prospecting used to be like this. And actually my whole paperclip strategy, and the reason I got written up in Atomic Habits by James Clear, was I'm aging myself a little bit here, but I was a cold call cowboy. My first sales job, I would make 120 dials every single day without fail. It was the very first thing I did every morning, and my whole paperclip strategy was I had 2 baby food jars, and every time I dialed the phone, I would just move a paperclip from one to the other. That was my discipline to get them done. But the results speak for themselves. I was the #1 rookie in my training class. I made the equivalent in my 20s of about 400 grand. Think if you count in inflation. In my first year, I was 23 years old, making that kind of money. That's a pretty good deal. So the discipline definitely worked, but we don't really do it that way anymore. I sure as heck don't do it that way anymore. So then cold email templates, and then marketers, created marketing automation software and so forth. And to a degree, for most people, they're not having a whole lot of success with cold email templates. Today, I'm going to show you how I am having a tremendous amount of success using cold email templates over LinkedIn. But if you're not doing what I'm doing, you're probably, if you're just sending these same generic templates to everybody, probably not working very well anymore. Worked great until marketers got a hold of it, and then it became spam. All right, so second one, if you would be kind enough to now hold your phone back up on the screen or click the link that is in the description. I'd like to know what kind of business that you're in. And it amazes me. Sometimes most of the people here are a digital agency, and other times most of the people here are in some type of B2B consulting or service. And oddly enough, I promote these webinars to the same list of people month after month. I'm sure you guys know, if you've been on the list for a while, you always get the emails when I'm going to run a webinar. So today, so far, digital agencies are in the lead. We've got 12 responses already, so I'll assume that that's good enough. I know a few more of you might put it in after the fact, but half digital agencies, a quarter consulting, and then we've got some e-commerce and some other. All right, cool. So the problem with an unsolicited email is, for the most part, people don't want to receive them. They're like, and this, I love this, yeah, if you could just kind of buy my stuff, that'd be great. How many of you right now, put it in chat, are currently and actively sending cold emails that are generic templates? If that's you, put the word generic in chat. Maybe nobody's doing that. So far, nobody. How about if you're doing cold email at all, just put cold in chat. Cold. Okay, so we've got it. Okay, cool. And then if you're doing it manually, put manual. And if you're doing it automate, put auto in chat, please. Some of both. Okay. All right. So when you send an email like this, the biggest problem is you aren't providing any value and you're just annoying your recipient rather. And so sending cold emails, it works great, but you do need to add value in some way. And I'm going to give you a number of different ways today on how you can add value. So the future of cold email, and I'm definitely using a future strategy, which is working incredibly well. So here's the ways that you can add value. And by the way, this way, the direct pitch, if you're super unique in your business, if you're lucky or smart enough to have what Alex Hormozi calls a $100 million offer, yeah, maybe you can do the direct pitch. Not everybody has a $100 million offer. So you might be thinking, well, Trent, what's a $100 million offer? So Domino's had this thing for years, 30 minutes or it's free. That is what they call a $100 million offer. It's so compelling that people kind of feel dumb to say no. So in this case, if you're up late, enjoying whatever liquids or substances you might like to enjoy, and you get hungry, you want some pizza and you want it now. And this really put Domino's on the map. That's one example of a $100 million offer. They're not easy to create, but they can be created. If you want to learn more about that, I would highly recommend you buy Hormozi's book. So now my last poll, if you would just tell me the size of your team, and thank you very much for those of you who are actively participating in helping me with the polls. And again, I will just re-put the link in case, I'll put it in chat in case any of you are on you're watching this on your phone, then you can't exactly take a picture of something that's already on your phone screen. Hard to do. Okay, so we have 8 respondents so far, 10 respondents now, 14 now. Okay, so 2 to 5. 2 to 5 usually is the winner for me. So I call you guys my SMB market segment. The outbound that we're doing to the mid-market segment. So if you're interested in selling to companies that have 10, in my case, 10 to 100 employees, what I'm doing is working incredibly well, and it should work just fine for you too. So if you don't have a $100 million offer, you do have a few other choices on ways that you can add value to your recipient. Not every strategy works in every market, so just pick the one that works for you. So some people, inclusion in a community of their peers. So one of the folks that I interacted with is the owner of this community, and so his predominant outreach strategy is to invite people to be a part of a relatively small but very, very focused community. It's the whole reason people go and join masterminds. It's the reason they go to conferences, is you want to hang out with other people that are like you and you want to be able to learn from those other people. So you need to make sure you've got a really great community. So if you have one, great. You could build one, but if you don't want to do that because it's kind of a lot of work, okay, so communities are great because they get multiple chances for a connection and exposure, plus a personal invitation can make people feel special. That's all fine and dandy, but what if you don't want to build a community? What if you don't want to manage a community? Well, then you can do the what I call the ego stroke and do it for exposure. So I did this for years. I produced over 600 podcast episodes, and oftentimes I would target people that I wanted to form a partnership with of some kind. And some of the greatest successes I've had in my business career came from partnerships that I did with people that I had guests on my show. So as you might imagine, sending a cold email to say Mike Michalowicz down here, if I'm like, hey, Mike, want to be on my show? Way higher chance that Mike's going to say yes versus, hey, Mike, can I have an hour of free consulting? In which case the answer would be no all of the time. So podcasts can be really, really great for networking and opening cold doors. But again, like, I don't have a podcast, Trent. I don't want a podcast. So maybe this one's not going to work for you. So then one of my customers, and this is what we talked about a lot on the last webinar. We're not going to talk about it a lot on this webinar because you can always go watch the replay, but essentially it's creating a directory site. So Bradley sells to tree care guys, and predominantly they're up in the tree all day long. So when you're up in the tree, do you think you might like getting a cold call? Not so much, right? It probably would piss you off quite a lot. And Bradley tried cold calling, and he used to get an earful from these guys. So instead, he created Tree Care HQ. By the way, we do have all of the SOPs for this. If this is your jam, we have a product called the Automated Prospecting System that Bradley and I collaborated on. If you want more information about it, you can email me or chat me or whatever. You can get a hold of support. We do have this, and it gives you all the SOPs and all the procedures to build a directory site for yourself. And the magic of this approach is you can send templated emails that are automated, and it basically just says, hey, tree care dude, I'm reaching out to confirm your company information in my business directory. More than likely, you're going to get a favorable response to that because people want the exposure of being in the directory. So that is also a very effective strategy. Although, if you don't have a directory, you need to create one before you can do that particular strategy. And so here's the message. Yeah, we're just reaching out to confirm company details. And then you use that conversation that you've started. In Bradley's case, he does local SEO. So he starts talking to them about their Google business page, which is usually pretty poorly optimized. And then he turns that into a retainer relationship where he can sell them his services. Emails can be fully automated, but in order to do this, you got to pick a niche, you got to register a domain, you got to do all this stuff that's on the screen. And for some people, that's not exactly the easy button. Now, we do have a done for you service where we'll do all of this for you. Again, if you want to know more about that, you can just reach out and we can have a conversation about that. So if you're looking for a simpler method, let me tell you what I've been having success with lately. Now, I got this advice from a guy that runs a $30 million marketing agency, and it is how he wins all of his new accounts. And since I started it, I've never got so many demos with mid-market companies, and I'm basically bribing people to take a meeting with me. I'm saying, hey, look, if you are, and I'll show you my exact cadence, so I won't bother getting into trying to remember what the email is, but this is the ethical bribe. So how much do I offer? Well, it depends on who you're reaching out to. By the way, has anyone ever tried, in chat, if you've tried the gift card approach before, just put GC in chat for me, would you? Never tried. Cool, so only one person. So if it's a manager, $105, a VP 225, C-level 350. Now, some of you might be thinking right away, oh man, I don't know, I'm not going to pay people to take meetings with me because they might be unqualified, they might be this, they might be that. Let me overcome that concern. So many people will run Google search campaigns, Facebook campaigns, LinkedIn outreach campaigns. They'll run ads on these platforms. And why? Because you're trying to get meetings. And then you measure the effectiveness of these ads by what's my cost per meeting. Like if I'm spending $1,000 a week and I'm getting 5 meetings a week, I'm paying $200 per meeting. I mean, that's just the reality of it. But you're paying these guys. And in order for this to work, you got to have the right audience, the right creative, the right copy, an optimized landing page, and you got to test. Trust me, I have tried this, and this is a shit ton of work. I'd rather not have to do all of that work. I just want the result. So as Garrett told me, he's like, Trent, why don't you just pay the people that you want to meet with? I'm like, well, that's a pretty good idea. Because all that really matters in business is that your cost of acquiring a customer, that's the CAC, is less than the lifetime value of a customer. If you can do that and you can figure out how to scale it up, you win. That's how you build a business. So think about this. If I am, and again, I guess I'll just repeat what I said. If I am paying ad companies or social media companies and it works out that I'm getting $200 a meeting, but I got to do all of this stuff, to me, that makes less sense than just offering this lady a $105 gift card to take a meeting with me. Now, I still qualify my meetings. I'm still very selective about who I reach out to and so forth. So how well is this working? This is August. I started around August 3rd. Demo. It's working really, really well. And I'm getting now mid-market companies with hundreds of employees to try Flowster out and sign up. And that's a pretty good thing. And if I, even if I only got one enterprise deal out of, let's say I spent $1,500 on gift cards and I got one enterprise customer out of it. Well, so my cost of acquiring that one customer was $1,500 worth of gift cards, but their first year lifetime value is like $3,000. How many of you would spend $1,500 to acquire a $3,000 customer? And that's just the first year. Our app is particularly sticky, so they're going to pay me probably year 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now maybe my customer lifetime value isn't 3, maybe it's 10, 11, $15,000, and I'm paying $1,500 in gift cards to do enough meetings to get the one person to say yes. Like in my world, that's a no-brainer. I've booked demos with Petco, Client Boost, Cat and Direct, all these companies. Look at 13,000 employees. They're probably not going to sign on with us only because I don't know if we could ever even pass their security requirements for a company that big. That's not really my target market, but I still really wanted to do the demo with Petco, and they were super impressed with the software, and that opportunity is still in my sales pipeline. So maybe, but these are like 138 employees, 40 employees, 29 employees, 23, 37, 1,600, 136, 2,800. These are great accounts to be doing demos with. And all of these came from the strategy that I'm going to show you. I spent about $1,500 because in this iteration of the campaign, I was messing around with my $350 gift cards for COOs. And now I've tweaked my copy a bit and I've tweaked my targeting a bit. I'm now going after marketing managers and HR managers. I'm not offering them $350 gift cards. I'm only offering them $105 gift cards. So if you'd like to have some results like mine while I sip water, can you type the word results in chat? Again, this is my way of saying if I got you guys engaged or not, or if you're scrolling Facebook or watching videos on YouTube. Those of you who've been on my webinars before know that I ask a lot to put a thing in chat. Because when I'm on stage back in the pre-COVID days, I can see the audience, I can see your face, I can see if people are engaged. This way I'm just staring at my slides just like you are, and a little picture of me at the top. I can't see any of your faces, so I don't know if you're engaged. And clearly you are, because a whole bunch of you just put results in chat, so that's cool. So now I want to show you my system. All right, so I'm actually going to hop out of the slides. So give me a second to get out of the slides. And we're just going to log into, so this, there's my vision board, by the way. Okay. So this software, let's go to the dashboard. We're actually now, we're in a beta program to white label this particular software, and we're going to call it Flowster Connect. So if you decide that you want to try this out, we'll get you into this exact software, and the price that we're offering it is just a smidgen less than you can go buy it directly from the site. So you can see here that, actually, let's go to outreach sequences. So I've got all sorts of campaigns that I've tested across those campaigns as soon as the data populates. So you can see here that I'm getting acceptance rates of around 23%, and I'm getting reply rates of around 52%. The current campaigns, I just started these ones yesterday, but let's look at COOs. So back in the COO campaign, let's go look at some of the copy for this particular one. So the way you do this is give it a name, you choose your hours. And we have an SOP for this, by the way. So if you too decide that you want to get on board with the software, I'll give you the SOP that shows you how to do everything. But essentially, you're going to go to LinkedIn and you're going to do a search and you're going to put your filters in and you're going to be like, okay, those are my peoples by whatever your own search criteria is. And then you just take that URL and you put it into this software. Then you just write your connect messages. So on this one, I didn't mention the gift card in the connect message. I've now started to mention the gift card right in the connect message. And then after that, 23 minutes later, after they accept my connection, then I say this, thanks for connecting, yada, yada, yada. And then if I don't get a reply an hour or 1 day and 18 minutes later, there's some follow-up. So basically this sequence will continue after a connection request has been accepted, and it will continue until they reply. Now, at the same time, because of the integration between Connected and the CRM that I use is Pipedrive. So if we look at Pipedrive, what happens is that these deals get automatically created in my sales pipeline, and then my virtual assistant. So here's here, let's just look at Nick Quirk. So in Nick's case, you can see that when they make the connection request, because they've got this information associated with their particular LinkedIn account, it pulls it back in. So I know that just because someone accepted my connection request, they might not actually pay very close attention to their LinkedIn messages, but I know are undoubtedly watching this email address. So we do kind of like a redundancy thing. And so what happens is when the connection request is accepted, the very first thing my assistant will do is qualify them. She will open it up. She'll follow the procedure. Do they have enough employees? Are they the right type of person? Like there's some manual checks that we're going to do. And then she'll just take the deal card. I don't want to do it because I don't want to trigger a zap, and I haven't reviewed this one yet. She'll just drag it over to whatever column we want to send them the emails for, and that fires a zap that then starts sending emails to the address that I showed you on their record that say more or less the same stuff as what we were sending on LinkedIn. So now we have a multi-channel campaign to get their attention. And then if we get a reply and they said, yeah, hey, yeah, I'm happy to do that, we put them in this column. And then if they go ahead and book the deal, then we put them in this column. So this is all open deals. If we look at one deals, like these are all deals that basically took yes to a demo, and then I moved them over to my high level pipeline, which won't mean anything to you, but it's just part of our particular process. So let's go back to open deals. And so this is, I don't have to do this is when I talk about automated and delegated. What I'm really trying to convey here is I have essentially no hand in doing any of this because I have the automation to begin with, and I have a procedure for the manual parts, and I have an assistant to follow the procedure to handle the manual parts. So even if, for example, if they reply to me, like in LinkedIn, they're like, hey, yeah, the gift card idea sounds cool. I'm super interested. Well, then we're going to send them to, or my assistant is going to say, hey, that's super cool. Let's send you, so it's decal. She sends them this link. They're then going to go, and here's how we qualify them. So let's just say I want to book on the 17th at 2:30. Look at this. Here's my qualifying. Is your company currently documenting processes on a regular basis? Yes or no? Where are you documenting your processes? They put some information in. Number of people actively involved in process documentation. Now, so for you, you'd make these whatever questions you would want to make them. So what I do is this then, when someone fills this out, this triggers a Flowster workflow on the day that they fill it out. So if I go into Flowster and I look at my calendar, you can see I got a bunch today that I actually have to review yet. So if we look at today, so demo for Zev, demo for Nicole, demo for William. So so these are automatically created thanks to a Zap, and it's my trigger to go into the calendar and look, were they qualified? Did they answer? Because if they wrote no, I'm actually going to cancel the meeting because I don't want to talk to them. Because the only, for me, qualified is in the mid-market is they got to answer yes. Because all I'm trying to do, like, let me show you my latest campaign. The first ones were, hey, I'm interested in doing some market research. Will you talk to me? Blah, blah, blah. But now that that worked so well, I'm kind of going more directly to the point. So for example, if we look at my outreach, this is a brand new campaign. And if we look at my message, it basically says, hey, I see you're a marketing manager and I'm reaching out because we're building new workflow software for marketing managers. I'd like to give you this gift card for a 30-minute call. Blah, 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 blah. What I want them to understand is that this isn't, in this iteration of my campaign, what I'm trying to tell you is this is less of a research call and more of a sales call. The message is basically, are you already documenting your processes? Cool. Would you be interested in seeing some a better application for documenting those processes? And are you maybe open to switching? That's why I'm asking these questions. So now that I'm getting people who are booking calls with me who are predisposed to the idea of trying out a new tool for something that I already know they're doing. So does that make sense? That's how I am qualifying my leads to make sure that I'm not booking appointments with people that I would then owe a gift card to that would not be qualified anyway. And by the way, at the very end of the meeting, so I've had people two things. I've had people respond and say, "Hey, I'll take the meeting, but don't worry about the gift card." Love those people. And then at the end of the meeting, I'll say, "Hey, if you want the gift card, just send me your address and I'll make sure I get it to you." Now, some people will follow through because they want their bribe. Fair enough. I offered them the gift card. They were qualified. I'm giving them the gift card. But what you're going to find, not everybody will follow through. They'll be like one guy I had, he got so much value out of the call because it was more of a two-way collaboration. Maybe we're going to be partners discussion. He would have felt guilty in asking for the gift card because he was kind of interested to talk to me to see if I would be a partner as much as I was interested to talk to him to see if he would be a partner. So why did the gift card need to change hands in that scenario? Well, it didn't really need to change hands in that scenario. So You could definitely figure all this out. And and if you have questions, by the way, make sure you put them in the question box and I'll get to them at the end. So I'm sure some of you, from what I've shown you, could just figure this out and go to town and do this on your own. However, I know some of you are the easy button folks and you're just like, hey man, I just want the easy button for all of this. I want to make this as absolutely painless as possible. So I do have an offer for you to try and make this an absolute no-brainer. It's called Flowster Connect. Here's what you get. You get the software that I just showed you. It's called Connected, but we're going to white label. We're white labeling that software. It's going to be called Flowster Connect. It's normally 89 bucks a month. You are also you'll get the Fast Summit recordings, and I'll explain the timeline for the bonuses. I built an SOP for creating the campaigns in the software, so you don't have to like watch all the training videos and figure out how to do it. And then that other workflow that I built that allows your virtual assistant, you or ideally your virtual assistant, to process the accepted connection requests in your pipeline. You get that also. So that's a total value of $1,763, not $1,762, mind you, $1,763. So the deadline to get the deal is July 10th at 9 p.m. Eastern. So what is that, tomorrow? And this is the URL to sign up. This is the promo code to use. Now, there are the special offers. You have an option when you choose. You can get the annual plan, which is normally $9.99, the annual plan on this software, but you can get 50% off before July 10th at 9 using this promo code if you choose the annual plan, which makes it actually only cost you 42 bucks a month, which is like less than half of the $89 a month that you would have to normally pay. Like if you go to Connected's website and you try and sign up, it's 89 bucks a month. If you want to go on the monthly plan, that is available for $89 per month. So choosing annual versus monthly means that you will save 53% or $569 per year. So most people don't have a prospecting system. Instead, they just rely on willpower or whatever mood they're in. Does that sound familiar? Is anyone willing to admit that they might be a haphazard prospector? Yeah, Thomas says yes. So the key to getting around that is to have a system. So if you, Thomas, or Charles, as the haphazard prospector, if you're sending 5 to 10 emails a week using discipline, should you expect more than a trickle or very occasional new opportunities in your pipeline? No, not really, because you're not doing much prospecting. Whereas if you employed the system that I just shared with you and you're able to send 100 connection requests per day, regardless of what mood you're in, because it's fully automated, what would be the effect on your pipeline? Well, it would be a gusher. You'd be like me. You'd be booking demos left, right, and center. So how did we get on the Inc. 5000 at slot number 254? It wasn't because I was in a good mood or I was feeling productive. It was because I did what I just showed you. I put a system in place that made outreach happen at the same cadence, at the same volume, day in, day out, day after day after day. So that means that if I send 20 times as many, or rather, if you decide to do your system and you're going to send 20 times as many emails as the person who's haphazardly doing it, you're going to get 20 times as many meetings because that's just how it works. So let's talk about ROI. So in my case, my average LTV for a mid-market customer is somewhere between these two numbers. I haven't sold to the mid-market long enough to be able to really pin it down. Ask me in 3 years, I can tell you exactly what it is. But for now, using historical data on our SMB customers, I know mid-market's going to be somewhere in here. So insert whatever numbers you would like. For anyone who knows, put in chat what the LTV is for one of your clients. And I'm going to read some chats. Lori says, I know everyone says this, my industry is different, but I'm struggling to translate this to a recruiting firm. I don't think it's different at all, Lori. Why wouldn't you give gift cards to your candidates to hear your pitch? Seems to me like it would work. Rob, as an existing Flowster customer, I just want to be clear, you'll provide this entire SOP and outline of it. Yeah, you get all of that, Rob, but you do need to sign up for Flowster Connect. It is the software. It's not Flowster Process, which is our core product. It is a separate subscription. If you go to that URL, you'll be able to sign up. You're going to sign up through the marketplace and do all the stuff you did before, and then I'm going to manually add you into the connected software. At some point when we're out of beta, it's all going to be automated and slick, but we're not there yet. So I'm just doing it manually at this point in time. So Joseph, yeah, 40K LTV. So $500 a year to give yourself. I mean, like if you get one customer, just one, your ROI is off the charts. So you should be looking at an ROI at least 10 times your investment at the low end and up to 50 times your investment at the high end. I don't know too many other ways in the stock market to get 10 to 50x your money. And side note, if you're chasing clients that are only worth $5,000 a year or less, just my advice is you're going after the wrong clients. Unless whatever you're selling is 100% automated and there is zero labor in it, but that's a topic for another webinar. So yes, you could have a VA do all of this manually. You don't need the software to do this, but you'd need procedures. And if you don't have them, you have to build them. That would take time. But even then, if you had all the procedures and you just thought, I don't want to pay for the software, your VA labor cost is going to be 10 to 20 bucks a day, assuming you're paying your VA $4 to $5 an hour. So that's $200 to $400 a month. And last time I checked, $200 to $400 per month is a whole lot more than 42 bucks a month. So there's a significant ROI for doing this. One of the bonuses is in April, we did our FAST Summit, Flowster Agency Success Tactics Summit. These recordings were sold for 199 bucks a crack. If you order today, not tomorrow, people who watching the replay, too bad for you. You were late. You didn't get this. If you order today, I will give you a copy of these recordings. You will also, if you order by the deadline, so if you're watching the replay, you still get this one, my personal SOP for processing all the manual stuff that I talked about in Pipedrive and moving things around and triggering zaps and so forth. And I will also happily give you a copy of my Zap template, but I will not be your support department to figure out Zapier. If you can't figure it out, tough, contact Zapier. I did that once. I will never do that again. Zapier, your either brain works and you have the patience to figure it out, or you don't. And if you're in the latter camp, I cannot and will not help you. I do not have the time to be able to do that. But I will share my Zap template with you if you ask me for it happily. And it should be pretty darn easy to use. All right. So questions. Do I need a lot of technical ability to set up the software? No, not at all. I can create a new campaign in 5 minutes. With my SOP, let's say you never done it before and you're a slow reader, call it 20 minutes. That's it. That's as fast. So you could literally sign up for this today, have it set up by the end of today, and have 100 connection requests offering gift cards, my recommendation, going out starting tomorrow, and you will be booking appointments tomorrow. Hopefully that's fast enough for you. Question, do I need to have a paid subscription to Flowster.app? No, you do not. Flowster Connect is its own separate standalone product, and our free account on Flowster, I think, holds 5 templates. The templates I'm going to give you don't amount to more than 5, so you don't need to worry. You don't have to sign up for Flowster.app as well, although you should. Because if you want to scale your business and you want to build a team and you want to delegate work, Flowster.app is the app to help you do that. Is there other software that I need? You're going to need a CRM of some kind, Pipedrive works great. Connected actually integrates with quite a number of CRMs. How do I know this will work? Well, I mean, if I haven't convinced you by now that it doesn't work or that it works, I don't know what else to tell you other than this software, this connected software, it's been around for 4 years. There's 25,000 customers using this, and I know the guy that owns the company, and they're growing like crazy. So, like, if you're not convinced at this point, I got nothing for you. So, question for you: on a scale of 1 to 10, did you find today's webinar helpful? If you could put a 1 to 10. At one time, somebody put in a 0, and the look on my face was, "Wah!" Because I've never had a 0 before, but she meant to type in 10 and only put in 0. I don't know if she's here today. All right. And we won't worry about that because I didn't set that up. So to summarize, this is our last slide. I'm just going to leave this on the screen because I know the eager beavers who are committed to growing their business have now heard enough to know that this is a great thing to do to ramp up your prospecting and get more appointments in your calendar to pitch customers and clients about giving you their money so that you can give them all the gold and value that you give them. I am going to go over to, oh, look at those 10s. Thank you so much, guys. All right, so let's see if there's any questions I haven't answered. So that one we've done. That was to do with chat. That one's done. That one is done. Done. Okay, so Thomas asks, does this automatically find the prospects? So let me share with you what the SOP looks like. So let me open up. We'll just go here and we'll go to library and we'll go into, I think I can search for it with this. Connect. I might have changed the name. I can't remember. Searching. There we go. All right. So when you run a workflow, so that when you get the SOP in Flowster, you're going to run a workflow, assign it to me, we'll give it a due date. So if I was setting up a campaign, this is exactly what I'd be doing. I'd say, okay, well, this thing's due tomorrow. I would just make it due the next day, whatever, and create workflow. Great. This is literally what you'll follow to set up your campaign in the Flowster Connect software. You're going to enter your search criteria in LinkedIn. So in my case, my first campaign was digital marketing. And then you're going to select second degree connections. Then if you want to, you're going to select an industry. And then if you want to, more than you should be, the industry is not mandatory, but you should absolutely be selecting your job titles. That is, when you're done that, there's going to be a URL up in your browser, and you're going to copy that URL to your clipboard, because now you're going to go into the software, you're going to give your campaign a name, you're going to choose the schedule, you're going to click on the next button, and then you're going to enter that URL, that LinkedIn search URL, right into there. And now it will only reach out to those people. And the size of the search results for that could be, I would say you want a list of at least 1,000 names, because it's going to send out 100 connection requests each day, and eventually with 1,000 names it'll run out of names. But you don't want 50,000 names, because that means your search criteria is probably too broad. So you're going to be creating these campaigns, like, it's not create one and then check on it in a year. You should be creating probably a new one each week, because you're always testing a new audience, and you're going to be comparing your stats. So if we look at stats here, because you're always trying to figure out ways to improve I'm just waiting for it to fill, your response rates and your connect accept rates. So testing, but by doing the gift card approach, I mean, you can see they work pretty darn well. All right, questions. So integrations, HubSpot. Yes, it'll integrate with HubSpot, Salesforce, Close, Insight, Zoho, Pipedrive, Email Finder, and Hyperize. Will this work with a free LinkedIn account? Yes, it will. Works better with a Sales Navigator account, but I'm using a free LinkedIn account. So, yep, absolutely. Adam, I already have a database of 25,000 qualified leads in my CRM. How do you recommend applying your strategy to this scenario? So, in that scenario, if you already have their email address, like, do you have email addresses? I'm assuming you do if they're in your CRM. Then I would just create a campaign in your CRM or whatever marketing automation software that you're using. Like you could use an app like Uptix, for example. There's lots of email cadence apps. Lemlist is another one. There's tons of them. And just write kind of the same copy like, hey man, do you do this? And would you like to see a better version of that? And can I give you a gift card if you'll give me 30 minutes? It's pretty straightforward. Um, so Brian, no, Flowster Connect is not the same as Go High Level. Go High Level does not do this. We are also in the process of white labeling Go High Level, and that's going to be called Flowster Automate, and we're going to be giving away when people like we're creating snapshots and doing all the things that High Level does. And I have started to use High Level, but it's not a part of this. It is I move them into High Level once the demo has been completed. That's when I close them out of Pipedrive. And I'm actually having a meeting later today with someone from Connected because apparently they're working on an integration to High Level, in which case I will just rip and replace Pipedrive with High Level, and then it will be Flowster, because we call it internally, we call it Flowster Automate, Flowster Connect, and Flowster Process. We'll be able to give you the symphony of all three apps and they'll all stick together. And I'm going to build a whole bunch of templates and do some really magical stuff to try and make this as much easy button for you guys as possible. So yes, Joseph, I would expect that your high level, I'm meeting with the developer today. I would expect that he's going to get me hooked up some way, somehow. Their integration isn't officially published yet, but I'm guessing that's probably a beta version is unpublished, and that's what he's going to set me up with. All right, hold on. Let's go back to where's my slides? There they are. Okay, if you have questions for me, you can DM me at flowster.app/DMTrent. That will open up a messenger message. And if you need more, if you were one of the people, I'm going to turn the screws on you just a little bit. If you were one of the people who said you're not making enough money and you haven't signed up for this yet, put in chat like why not, what's your concern, what's your objection, you don't think it's going to work for you, can't afford it, you don't know how to do it, like what is it, help me to understand, because I've never had this level of success with an outbound campaign before. So in my mind now, like who wouldn't do this? It just is boggling to me that you wouldn't want to sign up for this. And I don't know of any other less expensive way to do this. Like there's Expandy software. It's $100 a month per seat. You sign up with Connected directly, it's 90 per seat. Maybe there's some other software out there that automates this that I don't know about. But to the best of my knowledge, this is literally the best deal that you're ever going to find on how to automate your LinkedIn using, and especially using the strategy that I've just explained. So I don't see anything in chat. So does that mean that every single person here signed up? If you've signed up already, can you put signed up in chat, or just put whatever you want to let me know? Because again, how many people are still here? We still got most of the people who are here at the beginning are still here. And I'm always curious because I do a lot of webinars. If you're still here and you didn't buy yet and you're not making enough money, why are you still here? And why didn't you buy? I would love to know. Okay, so here we go. The Flowster Connect makes good sense. The problem for us is that nothing integrates with our application, our applicant tracking system. Would love to your sticky connectedness, but wonder again how it would translate. So if I was you, Lori, I would do the same. So here's exactly what I would do. I would do the outreach in the way that I'm doing it. I would offer gift cards. Now, maybe in your market, it doesn't have to be $105. Like, I don't know who you're trying to place. Maybe you do C-level executives, in which case you get huge commissions. So in that case, you can afford to give a bigger gift card. But I would absolutely say, hey man, give me the time to pitch you on whatever employer. It's an amazing opportunity. Worst case scenario, you're going to get this gift card and you can buy your wife or your husband some beautiful gifts on Amazon and you're going to be in the good graces. So then they say yes. So then I would create a procedure in Flowster for manually doing whatever you need to do in your applicant tracking system, and then just give that procedure like I did with Pipedrive. There's a bunch of manual stuff, and I just have my VA doing it, following the procedure. Like, why wouldn't you do that? To me, that's what I would do, and I know it'll work because you're doing it manually. Why not just make a VA do it manually? All right. Charles, I will be honest, it's not your fault. I was in another meeting in the beginning. I missed the demo. So the replay will be up later, Charles. You can watch it. By the way, when you're watching replays, if you don't like to watch them at regular speed, install the video speed controller extension in Chrome. You can speed up any video. That's how I watch any replays that I like. So Charles, definitely watch the replay. You'll see the demo, and hopefully you'll be convinced that, like, hey, this is a good thing to do. So Rob, I'm interested in signing up, but do we have to use connected with Flowster? So Flowster Connect, Rob, is connected. It's just the name because we're in the process of white labeling the software. And at that point, you won't see the connected logo. You'll see the Flowster logo. So they're the same thing. I'm just calling it Flowster Connect because that's the branding we're going to put on top of it. Or can it integrate with other LinkedIn automation platforms via Zapier workflow? So hopefully I've answered your question. Flowster Connect is the connected software. Brian, I taped this while I'm working my day job. I've been on the phone the whole webinar. Fair enough. That's a legit excuse. All right. Rob, understood. Thank you. You're welcome. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up here because other than just giving you a hard time for not signing up, I don't know what else to say at this point in time. There doesn't appear to be any other questions. Let me check the Q&A window. So I answered Thomas's question, does it automatically find the prospects as long as you conduct the search and put the search string into the software? Yes, it does. So thank you very much. Have a great day. Go get connected so that you can make more money in your business, generate more freedom, have a better life. Thanks, guys. Take care. Bye.